Okay, got a presentation or a really important meeting coming up shortly. Ladies, here's something that you are going to absolutely love because it's so simple. This is the 30-second attention grabber. Mhm. Arrive, aim, land. All. Because here's the thing. Ever walked out of a meeting thinking, oh, that should have gone better, or I should have said it differently, or why didn't I say that? And you're beating yourself up, right? And you replay it over and over and over and over and over again in your mind. It's exhausting, isn't it? Particularly, particularly when you wake up 2 a.m. and it's still there, going around like a, monkey mind. Here's the thing that no one ever teaches you. That first 30 seconds can make or break you, even before you even get going. So what's really happening in those first few seconds? People are making a number of decisions about you quietly, instantly, and for the most part, unconsciously. Yep, they're making judgments. We all do. And you may be aware of one or two of them, but the others, they're happening without you even realizing it. Things like, do I trust her? Is this worth my attention? Do I really have to be here? Do I want to be here? And there's one more. The one that decides whether people lean in and listen or just go wandering off into, their wonderful little daydream, check out emails, or suddenly discover something really interesting on the phone. And most of that, mm, that happens before your first sentence has even landed. So instead of giving you another script or even more things to say, blah, I'm going to give you a quick reset. And this is so simple. It's a 30-second crush it. Something so simple that it changes how people see you immediately. And it's this: arrive, aim, land. They're so simple to start off with and so important as well. And you'll understand this because you've been in those meetings. You've been seated at those meetings. You're sitting there, coffee on the table, first person gets up, starts speaking, and within about 20 seconds, your brain's gone, no, don't want to be here. But you have to be there, right? So you start wiggling in your seat. Your attention goes wandering off into la la land. You glance at your phone, not because they've said anything wrong, but because something's missing. You're not engaged. You're not connected. And without really even deciding to, your brain's just gone, nah, I don't want to be here. You know that feeling, don't you? But then when the next person starts, this speaker just quietly captures attention with some incredible communication tools. But first up, what I promised you, here's how you start the 30-second hack to really crush it. Arrive, aim, land. All. One, arrive. Okay, so before you speak, pause. Take one long, slow, deep breath. This grounds you in the moment. So let yourself actually be there. Because if you're rushing in, if you're super nervous or you're still working out what to say, your audience feels that disconnect instantly. People read your body language before they even hear your first word. So arrive. Number two, aim. Don't speak to everyone. That's where the connection is lost. It disappears from the get-go. With your eyes darting around the room, ugh, it's disconcerting and it makes you look nervous. So just pick one person to start off with and speak to them like it matters, because it actually does. But it'll also feel like a real conversation. And when that happens, everyone is interested in listening in. That's that voyeuristic characteristic, right? But here's where most people do get it wrong. They choose the wrong person to start the conversation with. And that changes everything for your audience and it even changes things for you. So the second one is arrive. Okay. Third one, land. Okay. So your first line, it's important, isn't it? This is where it's either built up or you lose it in those first few seconds. most people default to something incredibly safe and beige, like, "Hi everyone, thanks for having me," or "I'll quickly run through this," or "So today I'm going to talk about," okay, that sounds fine, but fine doesn't get you remembered, and it doesn't definitely doesn't get you chosen or show you as any kind of a leader. So here's a few ideas just for your first line. You could start with a powerful question or give a perspective, lead with something that you see is different. Or you could share a truth, say the thing that everyone's thinking, but no one's actually saying. You know what I mean? Or you could create a gap, a gap that needs to be resolved. And that's what pulls people in. You get their attention, you create curiosity in that first 30 seconds, and it is incredibly powerful. And just like that second speaker, same meeting, same people, same pressure. This time, there was no phones pulled out. People actually leaned in and listened for the whole time because that second speaker had a different way to communicate from the beginning right through to the end. And they understood that people's understanding mode may not be switched to their explaining mode. So this speaker knew how to captivate every single person because they know that everyone learns and perceives things differently, which means that you have to connect differently, connecting in a way that is important for them as the audience to understand, and giving simple, memorable takeaways that get remembered and quoted. And that is the art of communication. That's the communication of leaders. And corporate communication does not teach you that. It teaches you polish. It teaches you fine. It teaches you beige. But try this, because now you've got that first 30 seconds nailed. If you use this, arrive, aim, land, you will see, hear, and feel the difference for yourself. And so will your audience. But I've got to say, congratulations. Seriously, most people, they don't even try to be better. They want more, but they don't try. They're happy with fine. So they stay stuck memorizing the lines or sounding polished, and they end up just delivering beige information. But with arrive, aim, land, you've already started to communicate in a way that makes you stand out. And yet with this simple, simple, simple shift, you are already miles ahead. But if you are going for that next level, the promotion, the leadership role, getting on stage, making more sales, being the one that people quote, remember, and come back to, your communication has to operate at that level first. And it doesn't stop at just that first 30 seconds. Because what you want to do after that, the next 30 seconds, you want to surprise and delight them. 30 seconds after that, bring them on board. And make sure they're really listening now, not mentally checking out. The next minute describes why this is important. And to wrap up just the beginning of your presentation, this one thing will make sure you never get interrupted again, ever. You lead the conversation, not the other way around. And there's always one person in the meeting that tries to step on your toes, right? Yeah. Then for the rest of your presentation, the topic you're speaking about is delivered in such a way that every single person gets what you're saying, how it applies to them. And that basically means you are the one that gets the recognition. You're the one that gets the credit, and you're the one that gets quoted, not someone else. It's annoying, isn't it? Oh, by the way, next level communication is not just about presenting. Communication is everything. It's about how you show up in conversations, how you respond under pressure, how you read people in real time, and how you make them feel something when you speak. That is what's called understanding your audience and communicating in a way that they need to hear and creating that real connection. And that's the part that very, very, very few people teach. Why do I teach it? I learned this the hard way. I spent more than 20 years in commercial radio, live on air, speaking to thousands, sometimes millions of people all at once. And we lived and died by this thing, well, died metaphorically, by this thing called ratings. In other words, public opinion, which can be vicious, by the way. But if you didn't connect, heck, it was real easy. They didn't stay listening. Click, they're gone. That's it. And here's the thing, if they didn't stay listening and the ratings went down, you didn't have a job. That's just simple maths. You had to communicate, you had to connect. And it wasn't something that was kind of, oh, that's nice to have, like it is in a lot of corporate environments. It was the only thing to have. If you didn't do it, you didn't last. So that's where all of this comes from. Genuinely understanding your audience and genuinely communicating so powerfully that your audience, whether it's one person or 1,000, gets you every single time. Because holding attention, influencing those important decisions, being the leader that everyone remembers and respects and quotes, it's not about saying more. It's about how you are being felt by your audience. And honestly, that can be just one person. But once you feel that shift in yourself, you won't want to go backwards. But start with those three really simple things: arrive, aim, land. And if you want, arrive, aim, and land in a hard copy so that you can keep it there and practice. Easy. Scoot me a DM and I'll send it straight across to you. Okay? Go and do it. Arrive, aim, land, and crush it.